Hello everyone, welcome to Saturn in the 12th house of your chart. This video is good for you if you have Saturn 12 houses away from your ascendant or indeed from your moon sign. If you are Western based, it's also good as long as you are using equal house or sign for a house system. I will also be considering all the aspects that Saturn makes from this position. If you are new to my channel, sub below and let's begin. Everyone, to understand Saturn in this house, we must understand the 12th house. It's little understood. Let me try to put it into perspective for you. This is the furthest house from your ascendant or your moon sign. Therefore, it represents everything far away from you. Foreign lands, foreign places, foreign people. It also represents anything at all which is alien or strange to you. It represents your subconscious mind, because in your subconscious are all your hidden desires, hidden motivations, and indeed fears and phobias. So where are these hidden desires and fears and phobias coming from? They're coming from your past life experience. This is a house of past life memory. It's also the house of your dream life. Why? Because in your dream life you have access to your subconscious mind and your past life memories also. Where do we dream? On our bed. So this is the house of your bed for sleep and for bed pleasures, sex life also. And indeed, it's your final resting place. It's your deathbed itself. So therefore, this is the house of the after-death state, where you have left behind your material resources and you are somewhat isolated from your previous existence. It's a between worlds state of being. Now, this is why this is a house that is linked very much to loss of resources, loss of energy, loss of hopes, loss of anything that you need to leave behind to move on to a new state of being. Finally, this is also the house of larger institutions like prisons, hospitals, boarding schools even, and monasteries, where you enter them and you leave the outside world completely behind. They are like a world unto themselves. And what is Saturn? Saturn is, of course, limitation, delay, all sorts of obstacles and restrictions coming to you because of past life debt. So what's going to happen when we put together these two factors? So first of all, everybody, Saturn is the Karaka for the 12th house. And when the Karaka is in its own house, it's a very powerful position. What I found here is that Saturn will force you to face your fear. That's your reason for this incarnation. You've come here to face situations that you would rather not face, to face things which you actually feel afraid of. But here's the good news. When you face your fears, when you face them head on, you get tremendous strength and self-worth. It really makes you glad to be alive. So facing fears courageously is a definite factor with this Saturn. Now the question arises, what will these fears be? And obviously the sign placement itself gives you strongest indication what the fears will actually be. Now the stronger Saturn is by sign, for instance Saturn in Aquarius, Capricorn, Libra, the easier to face those fears. But the sign still indicates factors that cause you fear. Very soon I'll be uploading Saturn in all signs and I will post that link below for you to get more information. But let's start with the issue of foreign land straight away. Yes, Saturn is going to draw you karmically into foreign land experience. You may work there because Saturn actually represents employment work situations. But there will always be delays, always some obstructions that have to be overcome. It doesn't often go smoothly, even if you've got Saturn well placed by sign. For some people, foreign lands become a fearful factor where you really don't want to go there at all. And again, it's hugely karmic where you have to go at some point in your life to face those fears. Another factor about Saturn in this rather spaced out house, the 12th house, is organizational skills. Now, Saturn is all about organization management skills. Saturn can give some people here amazing skills in large organizations that I've just talked about, like hospitals, etc., where you can even go into management in these areas. But Saturn has to be very well placed and have really good aspects. Many people, though, struggle with organizational of practical everyday factors here. You find yourself very spaced out when you have to deal with organizing finances, organizing daily routine, because your mind is easily distracted. Also, sleep patterns can be badly disturbed here. People can have real insomnia, or they can actually have a real difficulty getting themselves together in the morning, because Saturn is a drain on your physical energy sometimes also. Dream life as well can be disturbed by Saturn in this house. Some people say they don't even have dreams at all, although they do, but they don't recall them easily. Actually, dreams can be inspirational for you with this Saturn. There's a deep wealth of memory in your unconscious mind, and you would do well, if you can dare to do so, to explore your dreams. I advise you to have a dream diary by your bed, maybe. Write down your dreams as soon as you awake. You might find this really helpful and give you deep insight. Finally, what about the spiritual and isolating aspects of this house? Will Saturn take you into isolation? Yes and no. First of all, for many people, there's a fear of being alone rather than a wanting to go into isolation. And there's a fear of spiritual exploration as well. These become fearful factors, the unknown. But Saturn's going to give you opportunity to explore these things many ways. You have to see what houses Saturn lords. E.g., if it's your seventh house lord, then partners will be spiritual and they will bring into your life aspects of spirituality. But some people go deep into meditation with this Saturn. They become very austere and very contemplative. So it can go either way. You have to see the whole chart itself. So now let's go on to explore Saturn's third aspect on your family and your finances, Saturn's seventh aspect on your health and conflicts, and 10th aspect on your foreign land, gurus, teachers, and father. So Saturn's third aspect is on your second house of family and finance. Family first. Early family environment is probably going to be constricting for you. It's probably going to be not something which gives you that many happy memories. I mean, many other factors involved, like sign and other planets, make a big difference. But on the whole, Saturn's glance means there is some restrictive factor in your early upbringing. That's probably why you want to get as far away as you can for some of you. Now, finances, Saturn's very impactful here. You could be rich or poor, whatever all the other factors indicate, but Saturn's going to make you not very good, particularly early on, dealing with money. You don't deal with it well unless Saturn is very strongly placed here. Saturn makes you a bit of a spendthrift sometimes, or you're just afraid of dealing with the practicalities. You don't like to have to look at all your bills, you don't want to have to go to the bank. You just find it really fearful and scary dealing with money. And the more money you've got, the more it becomes frightening to you. But here's the good news. After Saturn matures at 36, it gets better and better, and you finally get to grips with these fears. Lastly, with this house, I've often seen Saturn influences what you eat and how you speak. Now, Saturn can give overindulgence in food and drink, that there can be, at the worst case scenario, eating disorders and even alcoholism or overindulgence in food and drink, definitely, or just starvation like anorexia. There's a real need to control eating and drinking here. You feel that need to control it, and it can be a lifelong problem for some people. Or with a very strong Saturn, you can be a marvelous cook and you can make a living dealing with food. Speech is also very important. There's often a very deep speaking voice here, and there can be speech problems for sure, but there can also be a very eloquent and articulate speaking voice also. Saturn's seventh aspect on your sixth house. Many factors here. First of all, health. As I say, there can be eating problems. There could be overindulgence in food and drink. So this is going to be something which is going to impact your health if you do have that. And Saturn here shows that that's a lifelong struggle. But Saturn aspecting sixth house is actually favorable. Saturn helps you get on top of the sixth house health issues, gives you disease resistance. It's a very strengthening aspect. It gets you good treatment. So even if you need to go into hospital, which you may well do, you get good consultants and you get good treatment. There may be issues with your bones because Saturn indicates bones and those sort of diseases also. Conflicts are contained and enemies also destroyed completely by this sixth house aspect. Now, Saturn's 10th aspect is very important because this is the strongest aspect, and this is about teachers, gurus, father, religious organizations, foreign travel, and higher education. So, Saturn's going to impact, first of all, relation with father. It's very often seen. There can be loss of father for some people. There can be separation from father here. There can be disagreement and discord with father, definitely. And this may absolutely link in with the third aspect of your early environment. But it isn't just father, it's teachers and gurus. You can have difficulty in your school time because you can't respect or cannot take authority from teachers. And this may continue on into higher education sometimes, but not always. But higher education will be delayed. It's very often seen. This may be for many factors. Either you go onto the wrong course and you have to leave the course, or you just go into higher education later in life. Saturn affects your spiritual development hugely here. Just as there is resistance to teachers' authority, you have resistance to spiritual instruction from organized religion. Organized forms of religion are difficult for you. You feel constrained by these factors and you seek to escape for them into your own constructed spiritual experience. And finally, foreign lands. Even though you may live abroad, even though you may work abroad, as I've just discussed, foreign movement, travel itself, going into foreign lands is disturbed in some way. It doesn't go as smoothly as you want. So when you go on to long distance travel, you're not a good traveler at all. You find it really disturbing to you. But because of the karmic impact of this 12th house Saturn, you have to go on maybe many foreign journeys in your life. Okay, everybody, I hope that was a useful introduction and discussion for you about Saturn in the 12th house of your chart. If you are new to my channel, sub below. Coming up soon will be Saturn in all signs. Goodbye for now, and God bless everyone.